Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me today in the engineering management track. My name is Matthew Bailey, and today I'd like to talk a little bit about engineering organization culture, how it can be built, and what we can do as engineering managers to support that. So this discussion is going to be in the context of capture the flag activities, which is something which I will explain. I will go through what we as engineers can learn from them, how they're connected to engineering culture, what our role as managers is, and what you can do as an engineering manager. First, let me briefly introduce myself. So as I said, my name is Matt, and I joined Line Corporation in 2017. 2 years later, I transitioned into a management role. And then in the spring of last year, I took a senior engineering manager role in LY Corporation. My organization is responsible for the development and operation of the sticker message feature in the Line application. So the first question that I'd like to ask is, where does engineering culture come from? I think there's a lot of different sources for this. One may be your company's values. The other may be your organizational leadership and the influence and impact that they have on the organization. And another source is, of course, the team member creativity, which is related to today's topic. As managers, what are our motivations? So we, of course, want to support our team. We want to enable bottom-up initiatives in some cases and avoid becoming a bottleneck. We want to encourage a supportive environment where members of all experience levels and backgrounds can work in a comfortable way. So today I'm going to explain about some ways that we support this in our organization. So the engineering context for today's discussion is something called a capture the flag activity. And this is basically a security skill development related activity. It includes investigating a sample application and then searching for some kind of vulnerability and using that vulnerability to find a secret string that we call the flag. And if the discovered string is correct, then it means it's proof that you used the security vulnerability successfully. So this can be thought of as hacking practice is another way to look at it. And having a awareness of security concepts is a big step toward mitigating security risks. So from the engineering perspective, this can be very important for companies and teams. Next, I would like to give a simple example of a capture the flag activity. So if you look at the picture on the left, this is of course a browser window, and it has an input field and a login button. So the context here is you don't know the password and you want to log in successfully and get the flag. Depending on what you know about, this may look quite difficult, but of course there are often ways to solve this kind of challenge. So for today's example, we're going to use the view source feature of the browser. And if you look at the code on the right, you can see that there is a comment there that says, like, for testing in the beta environment, the password is ABC123. And you can probably imagine a scenario where the development team maybe left this in from testing. And if you can imagine that, you may be able to imagine a scenario where the implementation on the back end to make this password work is also still there. So if you see something like this and you're trying to solve a challenge, maybe trying the password is a good idea. So in the case of this example, if we put the password into the input field and click login, then we're taken to the user's page and the flag is displayed there as is. And the prefix of the flag in this case is techverse_. This is common in cases where there are multiple challenges in a hacking event, so to serve as a hint for the participants. And it also can sort of tell you that maybe you did actually find it if the string that you found starts with this prefix. Once you have found it, then your next step is to show it to the event facilitator or to submit it to a judge server. And that's to validate that the flag is correct. And in cases where there are maybe multiple teams participating in the event and there are multiple challenges to be solved, it can be pretty easy to make a scoreboard if you have a judge server. And then you can make a friendly competition between the participants. Typically, the judge server is off limits for hacking in the events. So from this, like as engineers, what can we learn? Well, we learned that there is a view source feature. We learned that we should develop things in a way that does not allow testing code to go to production. And I think that many people, also non-engineers, know about the view source feature in the browser. However, there's a first time to learn about everything, which is part of the point of today's presentation. What benefits can we get from this? We can, of course, learn security and engineering skills, security awareness, investigation and debugging skills. Test environment setup is often needed to exploit certain vulnerabilities, and that can be a good skill. Problem solving, critical thinking, and time management also become important when there are multiple challenges to be solved in a team environment. How is this connected to engineering culture? Well, I think there's a few ways. One of my favorite, or something that I think is very important, is that CTF challenges are a great equalizer. So it does not matter how much experience you have. There's always something that you have not tried before or that you have not learned yet. And experienced team members often don't have all the answers. And capture the flag challenges can really demonstrate this. Often experienced team members will be able to guide or give advice about how to solve a certain problem, how to investigate, what questions to ask yourself, but they will usually not have exactly the answer right away. It's connected to preparation, so it's connected to real work scenarios in many cases, and the tools that you set up, the environments that you prepare to participate in these challenges are often directly connected to real work events and real work challenges that come up later. Of course, it's related to creativity. So sometimes solving these requires creativity, and one thing that definitely requires creativity is making them, because you need to do the investigation yourself and reproduce the scenario and imagine how the participants will interact with what's there. These events, they represent a do as compared to a tell. So they're not like a lecture style activity. They are very active, and in my opinion, that's valuable to organizations. The facilitator also needs to learn things such as how to give hints without giving away the answer, because the fun often goes away if you get exactly what the answer is. So sometimes the best hints, the most effective hints, are given as questions about what you can see and questions about the information available to you, rather than a statement about the situation. And of course, the participants can learn the engineering and security concepts needed to solve these challenges, and that's valuable in my opinion. Next, I would like to give 2 examples from our organization that we have used in the past. And for the purposes of time, I'm not going to step through the details of each one, but I will briefly explain what kind of challenge it was and what's required to solve it to help you imagine maybe a more difficult CTF challenge. The first one is related to packet analysis. So the information that the participants start with is a packet capture from a server API that is communicating over UDP and has data in the packet that's not human readable. The participants need to identify the API, where it is, the protocol, what it's doing, and then create a client that can communicate with it and download a PDF that has the flag in it. So this, I think, has many useful engineering skills in it, packet capture analysis, UDP basics, etc. The next is related to virtualization. So the starting point in this challenge is a binary application that cannot be run on the participant's computer. As a hint, the partial source code is provided, but a key part is missing. And the participants need to identify that the binary is for an IBM System 390 mainframe running Linux, and then use virtualization technology to run the binary, and then use a debugger such as GDB to inspect the memory of the application and get the flag. And I think that many engineers would agree with me that this includes many skills which are useful in day-to-day work. We also had a team workshop at the end of December of last year, and that included around 20 separate challenges, all made by team members, and they covered a wide range of topics, including database technology, configuration storage, cryptography, protocol analysis, metrics, heap analysis, and authentication technologies such as JWT. So why did we do this? Well, it started as a bottom-up initiative, not a top-down initiative. So it did not come as like a direction from management. Members were interested in security, and through learning through CTF challenges, the team self-organized the events and developed the challenges themselves. And the first activity was for an official team event. However, after that, the members self-organized many ad hoc CTFs. So it's common to see the team members doing these. What should we do as managers if this was self-organized? Well, one is participate, in my opinion. Join the CTFs as a participant, struggle with the challenges along with the team members, learn to have fun, show the team members that it's okay to not know things, to learn things new. Managers are, of course, leaders in organizations, and organizational leaders also don't know many things, and showing that that's okay is important. Encouraging participation is another big thing. Preparing and joining in the CTFs takes time and effort. Help the team to recognize the value in this and show that you acknowledge the value in this and encourage the members. Present contributions to organizational culture as a career opportunity. That's something else that you can do, especially if your people are looking for that kind of opportunity and are not sure what to do. And you can contribute by developing challenges yourself. What should you do next? Well, in my opinion, you should try it. Make a simple CTF which is related to your organization or the technology you use. Get the team members involved. Set expectations that it's okay to use time learning about engineering concepts in this way. Encourage the team to do it themselves. Their creativity may surprise you in some ways, and you will probably struggle to solve what they created. And that's okay. That's by design. For non-managers, the advice is the same. Try it. I would also encourage you to tell your manager that you think it's important, or if you think something else is important, tell them that too, because they want to know, and we want to know as managers. So that brings me to the end of today's discussion. Thank you all for taking the time to listen, and of course, thank you to my team for all your efforts. Our organization would not be what it is without you. I'll be outside afterward if you have any questions or comments. So thank you.